going to give y'all a rundown on this book right here. We're going to rank its level of scary, and then we're going to break down each character and do a little, psychoanalyzing too, because fuck it, why not? Alright, wormlings, we are back. We're back. I told y'all, the next time you was going to see me, it was going to be in October. I told you Spooktober was coming up. Spooktober is here. Take it in. Take it in. I went a little out, okay? You know what I'm saying? You see the background. You see the background. You see the lights. I was really trying to set the vibe. Before I even proceed, let me show y'all my costume. All right, this is my costume. Can you guess what I am? I'm gonna give you a second. If you weren't able to tell, it's a bookworm. I dressed up as a bookworm. You get it? The worm. Book. Okay, I'm sure y'all got it by now. But like, ain't this dress cute? Ain't this cute? Look. Let me introduce the newest member to our community, wormlings. We got a mascot. Oh yeah, we got a mascot, baby. We got a mascot. Everybody say hello. Technically, it came with an adoption certificate, and so it has a name. But I want to ask y'all, for whoever want to comment down below, if I should keep the name that it came with, or if we should change it to something else. And the name it came with is Mitzi. I'm like, okay, that's cute, Mitzi the worm. So for now, wormlings, we can go ahead and call the worm Mitzi, unless you guys want to call the worm something different. And Mitzi here has her own costume. One moment. Mitzi was helping with my costume, because obviously I dressed up as a bookworm. But she, as you can see, has her own costume. Thank you for helping me out. And she dressed up as a witch. She got a little broom, got her little witch hat. She looking cute with her little costume on. So the worm, I got it from, this small business on Etsy called Off Kilter. And I really fuck, with their stuff. It's real cute. It even came with an adoption certificate. Ain't that cute, y'all? I'm gonna read it to y'all. A little background on our newest member here. Mitzi was born in Wormwood on September 19th, 2025. She's a crafty witch with a penchant for casting mostly harmless prank curses on her friends. She can always tell a good joke, and she loves to fly around on her cute broom. When she's not practicing spells, she loves to listen to her favorite audiobooks. That's her backstory. So she dressed up as herself because she a witch in real life, y'all. She really about that life, okay? She really about that life. She decided to just dress as herself for, the month of October, because she a witch for real. She about that spell life, so don't fuck with her, okay? But yeah, like I love the packaging and everything that it came with. Y'all should check them out. Shout out to them. And the turnaround time was really quick too. I'm gonna have to do like a full display of my blanket, my cozy little blanket here, because it's like a mystical magical bookshelf type of ordeal with all types of stuff on it. I know you can't see much, it's kind of hard, but you're gonna see this in my videos a lot more often, just even after October. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into our first video of Spooktober, and what y'all saw on the thumbnail, which is this book right here, Goosebumps, baby. I know y'all remember this, and I can't remember, I think this is book number 7, Night of the Living Dummy. I'm gonna give y'all a rundown on this book right here. We're gonna rank its level of scary, and then we're gonna break down each character and do a little, psychoanalyzing too, because fuck it, why not? I loved Goosebumps as a kid, like the books and the show, like the episodes. That was a TV show, right? Or was it movies? It was a TV show, I believe. But like whether it was on the TV or the books, I fucking loved the Goosebumps series. And so I thought, like, fuck it, like, why not? Why not revisit these books that I haven't probably touched in like a decade, maybe more. What the fuck is up with these book cover changes? I noticed, and it's not just, Night of the Living Dummy. Like, I was looking at a lot of other ones online, and they changed the covers. Like, I guess they're trying to make it more modern and stuff. But, like, I'm going to put a picture right here on the screen of what the old book cover looked like. And that's the one that I remembered it by. And I was kind of confused when I saw this on Amazon, because I'm like, did I read this one? Did I see this one? Because I'm like, I could have sworn. I'm like, is this a different one that I haven't read? But I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I have read this one. Something I will mention, I got a bad memory. So I couldn't really remember much anyway. So it's like I'll be reading books brand new, even if I have read them, especially that long ago. It's been a long time, okay? But it's not that the book cover is like bad or anything. It's not. I don't think it's ugly. You know, comment down below. You know, if you like the new cover, the new book cover, if you like the old Goosebumps book cover. But you know, it's just like when you used to seeing it one way, it's, when you see it a new way, it's kind of like, it don't hit the same. But that's okay. While you know I was creating the outline for this video and just coming up with a video idea and stuff, and like reading the book and all that, I noticed that like I had came with the idea of, you know what, let me go also watch the episode, the Goosebumps episode, and compare it to like the book now that I've reread it again. And then I realized like, well, I can't find it. I was able to see like the night I saw that they had the number 2 and number 3 of the Night of the Living Dummy, but I could not find number 1. Then I came across this YouTube video. Honestly, I might plug in like a picture of this video that I saw. Shout out to him, of him explaining like why, like what happened. Is there an episode? And like there isn't. That's why I couldn't find it, because there is no episode for like this very much like staple in the Goosebumps series. They don't have one. They never made one. They only made one for the second and the third, which is so weird. And so this right here is the explanation straight from the producer of the Goosebumps TV show series. He got interviewed, and this is what he said about it. So, and this is directly from that guy's video. So this is the reason. And I'm gonna go ahead and tag his YouTube channel also in the description if y'all wanna go and check him out. He loves him some Goosebumps. So kind of sucks, but it is what it is, right? So we've got Chris and Lindy Powell, and they are twin sisters, right? And then we have Mr. and Mrs. Powell, which are the twins' parents. And then we've got Slappy and Mr. Wood. They are the dummies in this book. And then we've got Barky, their pet dog. So the book is centered around 2 twin sisters named Chris and Lindy Powell, as we discussed earlier. And they're both 12 years old. So moving on, they end up going on an adventure to a house on the street that's in the middle of being built. And they find a dummy in the dumpster. Lindy seems to be excited about keeping him, but Chris wasn't really feeling it, and neither would I, because the amount of germs on that damn dummy, that's disgusting. Okay, but Lindy for some reason thinks the dummy is cute and decides to take him home. So it seems she hasn't gotten the memo that them things is creepy as fuck. And what does she name that dummy? Slappy. So Lindy actually ends up being really good at ventriloquism and goes on to get lots of attention and gets booked and busy around town. And with this, of course, it just makes Chris jealous, so much so to the point that, she now wants her own dummy. So what ensues through the next chapters is basically a whole lot of jump scares and cliffhangers at the end of like every single chapter. But the gag is, though, that every time the author would insert something creepy happening there, it would end up being a logical explanation as to why it happened. So, basically get you on your toes and then bring you back down over and over and over, right? So the twins are constantly arguing and having fights with each other. One of them being, of course, about Chris wanting to share Slappy with Lindy. And of course the parents, they make them share, even though Chris in the beginning was also creeped out, okay? But whatever. So after Chris spends some time sharing Slappy, she starts to have nightmares. Coinky dink? I think not. Bitches given evil spirits are in the room. Okay, so fast forward, their dad ends up getting Chris her own dummy, which honestly I feel like is giving karma, since she want to be like Lindy so damn bad, right? Trying to be a copycat and shit. And of course, it creeps Chris out, but she pretends that she loves it. Let me know how this man didn't think it was nothing off about the fact that the pawnbroker that he bought it from wanted to get rid of the new dummy like really badly. Like, sir, do you not have sense? We're running through this a little fast, but we're trying to do a quick little synopsis here. You know what I'm saying? We're doing a little bit of a speed run. Okay. So Chris ends up naming the new dummy Mr. Wood, right? So I've got Slappy and Mr. Wood. And she then starts to practice ventriloquism herself. And lo and behold, she is not good at it. No. And honestly, that's okay. That's okay. Yes, I am roasting a fictional 12-year-old. Well, 12-year-olds, okay? Let me be. Once Mr. Wood comes into the picture, creepier shit starts to happen, and it's a slow escalation too, because R.L. Stine, he knows how to build up that tension. At one point, like the girls had come back into their room after a long day, and the dummies was out here positioned like they was in a fight, like a whole ass turf war type of like positioning, okay? And honestly, at this point, the girls got freaked out, and they go to finally tell their mom, after numerous weird things have already happened. And of course, the mom doesn't believe them, but she just immediately started turning up on them. Like, girl, why are you that angry that fast? Like, she doesn't even try to really listen to them. She just shuts them down immediately. Shit still keeps happening after this, and these girls still keep the damn dummies, you know. So fast forward, one night the girls ended up in the kitchen and they see all of the fridge food dumped out on the floor, and Mr. Wood was just sitting in the middle of it. And the mom comes down and she gets infuriated, and she threatens to take the dummies away. And to be honest, good call. That's a good call, mom, because they do not need this shit. But the girls, they start like begging to keep them, and it's like this, like they built this weird attachment to the dummies, and I don't know why. But honestly, by the time we end up at chapter 13, I'm not even surprised at the jump scares anymore, just because it's happened so many times. And it's honestly not too long after this, though, that there's a fucking plot twist that I low-key did not see coming. And you want to know what the plot twist was? That it was Lindy. It was Lindy the whole time. Like, all the weird stuff that's been happening that whole time with the dummies, it was her. And it was at this point that I'm like, oh, okay, so she's a little sociopath in the making. Okay. Mind you, we're on chapter 15. Okay? That means she was out here dedicated for like over a half or damn near half the damn book. Dedicated to fucking with her sister. Just because her sister wanted to share the dummy and like do what she was doing. Like, that's some crazy acting skills. I would say that that's one of the scariest parts of the book. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that happening to you at 12? Like your sister doing that to you? Like, that's a mind fuck. Hell, even as an adult, I would get pissed the fuck off if somebody did that to me. But what really sucks though is that, Chris can't even talk about this with her mom because she done banned them from saying anything about the dummies. Like, the open communication is clearly not in the room, okay? But on the bright side, at least she's able to talk to her friend Cody about it and get some form of validation, So after this, Chris finds a mysterious piece of paper in Mr. Wood's pocket, his front shirt pocket. So she unfolds the paper, and it's obviously a fucking spell. Oh my gosh, obviously. It's a sentence in a language that she doesn't know, and she goes ahead and reads it out loud, doesn't do no type of research, nothing. And so now what happens? Then the dummy done blinked right in front of her type shit. And I can't even feel bad for her no more, because it's like, girl, come on. Come on. You should have known better than that. I know you're 12, but come on. But moving on, Chris actually ends up getting booked to do a show in front of the school. Good for her. And of course, she's been rehearsing with a dummy still for some reason. But, honestly, like, the determination of preteens is nothing to play with. Y'all been there. We've all been a preteen before. We be some determined motherfuckers, okay? The night before her show, her parents actually end up inviting the neighbors over, and they have, both the twins do like a mini performance for them. So then Chris goes up to practice her performance for the next day, right? And Mr. Wood, he starts tweaking, bruh. He gets hella disrespectful and mean towards the neighbors. And she got tore the fuck down by her parents. And them poor neighbors, they was appalled, okay? And not gonna lie, I was feeling secondhand embarrassment through the pages. Who would have thought that you could feel embarrassed for a fictional character like that, okay? In a kid's book. It's kind of sad though now, because it's like, now nobody believes her, not even her sister, because she thinks that she's just trying to get back at her for the prank that she pulled. But in reality, like, no, like, this shit's alive, because the bitch done brought it alive with a spell, like a dumbass. Next day ends up coming, and you would think that she would throw the dummy away at this point, but no, she doesn't. She goes ahead and she takes him to the show to perform. Okay, it was at this point that I feel like I was just getting really frustrated, and honestly, I feel like the majority of the book, I've been feeling like everything but scared, to be honest. No surprise, shit goes completely downhill at the show. I mean, it was bad. Mr. Wood starts insulting the fuck out of her teacher on stage, and then proceeded to vomit spray like green, rotten smelling liquid all over the crowd. I was disgusted just reading that. Okay, I was just like, ugh. Of course, she ends up getting punished by her parents, and again, it's sad yet again, because it's like they don't let her talk. Like, oh my god, at the very minimum, I feel like it's worth, entertaining your child, even if you don't believe them, so you can at least understand, like, where this behavior is coming from, like, where is this coming from, So later on, it's like hella late at night, and she's just, awake in the bed when she starts seeing something move around in the shadows, right? And it feels like she's doing everything but turning on a goddamn light. Like, who the fuck gets up and walks in the dark towards noises and shadows and shit? Like, who does that? Like, the lack of common sense is like, it clearly has to be coming from the parents. Maybe she got it from the grandparents. I don't know. So then this chapter ends with her grabbing the thing that was moving around by its shoulders and turning it around. And then she sees that it's the one and only Mr. Wood, baby. She's just out here moving like a true, authentic horror movie victim. Like, for real, okay? And so, you know, after this, I swear she spends like a good 10 minutes just like negating her reality. I mean, the dummy is talking, walking, doing shit, you know, and she just refuses to acknowledge that this is real. You know, this is how people get killed, okay? Doing this kind of shit. He ends up snapping out of it, and she starts going in on some like WWE fighting type of shit with the dummy. Girl, I was sitting here like, damn, the bitch done grew some balls out of nowhere. What the fuck? And so, like, after fighting for a while, Lindy ends up waking up and she sees what's happening, and finally, someone can see what's really going on now besides Chris. And honestly, it feels like it's about fucking time, you know, because I feel like they was making this bitch feel like she was crazy. Fast forward a little bit, you know, these girls get like real serious real quick, and they decide like, okay, we got to kill this thing. So they start trying all kinds of ways, but you know, nothing's working. And Mr. Wood was just increasingly getting on my damn nerves because he talked too damn much. I would have put like a goddamn gag in his mouth or something at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Like, bitch, you're not even scaring me. You just getting on my nerves. Okay. So finally, they end up burying him in the ground of the neighbor's yard that they initially found Slappy at. But, you know, of course, he escaped. And then he just popped right back up in the kitchen the next morning. And I can't even say he didn't warn them, because he did. He kept telling them that he had powers. You know, he wasn't playing. And now the little fucker was out for blood. Okay. And this next part is what infuriated me the most in this book. And y'all tell me if this part infuriated you too. You know, Mr. Wood tried to kill Barky. Oh yeah, he did. He was being dead serious. You know, he latched on to that poor little doggy's neck, and he was trying to choke him out. And, you know, but fortunately, the girls, you know, they dove right into that shit, and they ended up being able to separate them. And they came up with a new plan. So outside, it was raining, pouring down. And the house that's getting constructed had like 2 huge steamrollers flying out the backyard. And so they ended up running out there with Mr. Wood, like they was grabbing on him. And then they realized that Barky followed them outside and was headed straight for the goddamn machines. And oh my god, my heart was pounding so bad for like that poor baby. I was like, oh, just sitting here with the book in my hands like, no, Barky, no. They ended up, you know, just yeeting that dummy out, you know, and they like just dive in after the dog. And luckily, the damn dog ends up running out of the machine's path. And instead, Mr. Wood got ran over. Oh, yeah. And then, like, this green, smelly gas starts, like, hissing out of his body. And honestly, it's giving the evil spirit is getting released. Okay? And I don't mean that in a good way. All the girls are feeling, like, hella relieved. And, you know, because they feel like, oh, he's finally dead, right? So they go back up to the room. And they go and get cleaned up. And then right before the book ends, Slappy grabs Chris's arms and says, quote, "Hey, slave, is the other guy gone? I thought he'd never leave." And that's how it got finished. So now that we have, you know, speed ran through like what this book is about and everything, right? Because that's what that was. That was a speed run. I want to go ahead and point out every character's like it's bullshit / just like what I noticed about, you know, their personalities. And I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but starting with Chris. She's got major jealousy issues, very much a copycat, annoying, a liar, has no common sense, and she got anger issues, which I don't even think I touched on that while I was reading the book. But yeah, she just be throwing shit, you know what I'm saying, out here, like, acting out, okay? Going over to Lindy, the other twin sister, she's slightly approval-based, right? She also has no sense of common sense, but she's also a little entrepreneur. And a baby sociopath / psychopath. I'm not sure which one applies here. I'm sure editing tab will insert the correct term for what the hell she got going on. But like the sisters, it makes sense why they act the way they do. Well, the sociopathic tendencies are kind of weird. That's side note. But like, especially with Chris, I think a lot of the reasons is why she acts the way she does is because these girls have no sense of space. Like they've been living in a room together for 12 years. They share everything. They even share a face. They share, you know what I'm saying? Like they have the same face. And I can imagine that might be a struggle in real life with people who are actually twins in real life, just that struggle to have your own identity. And I feel like, you know, that's why they're so competitive, you know, like especially with Chris, where she feels like she has to be better, like be the better one, right? Because if they look exactly the same, you know, it's like I gotta be able to be the more dominant twin here, right? Now moving on to the parents, Mrs. Powell, she is a bitch and she low-key got anger issues, okay? And this is where Chris might get it from, the mama, and that would make sense, like the anger issues, because the way that this lady be turning up on her kids, when it's like, girl, all they need is for you to just sit down and listen. That's all they need, okay? And it was just very annoying. I feel like reading it and it's like, ugh, so dismissive. Like, goddamn, just let them kids talk, okay? Going over to the dad, he's possibly incompetent, also has a lack of common sense, and is also a bitch, because it's like he also don't be listening to the damn kids, okay? And the reason I say like possibly like incompetent is because like there was a whole like scene in the book where it's like he couldn't even chop some goddamn onions without like giving up mad quick, and it's like I don't know why that was inserted in the book, but I was like, okay, interesting. Interesting character add-on. You know, like I say he a bitch too, because it's like I feel like the mother's definitely a lot heavier with it, but he also just does not let his kids speak, does not let them talk, you know? And like I can only imagine as a child that how frustrating that might be. I don't even have to imagine because I've been there. But moving on, you know, then we got the two dummies, Slappy, who only had a small like really like appearance in this book. He wasn't the main focal point, but one thing we do know about him is that he evil, okay? Because he over here calling motherfuckers slaves, okay? And then, you know, we have Mr. Wood, who we know is evil for sure, mean as hell, and talks too damn much. We know that for a fact. And between these two dummies, obviously we know Slappy ends up being the one who gets a lot more notoriety in the Goosebumps series. Mr. Wood, though, they basically twins themselves. Then we have my favorite character of the book, Barky, the pet dog, and he is a sweet little baby. Yes, he is a sweet little baby. Honestly, the dog, you know, dogs, they be a little like slow sometimes, so he just be doing shit where it's like, all right, honey. Especially the whole running out to the front of the steamrollers and shit, like that's a dog move for sure. That's a little dog move right there for sure. I would say I feel like my least favorite character is the mom. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like it's the mom because, and I guess, you know, we need a plot to the story. We need certain things to not go, because if they were the perfect parents, you know, then Lindy and Chris would have ended up, they would have gotten rid of the goddamn dummies from like way earlier on in the book, and the book would end it, right? Rereading this book as an adult, you know, does it hit the same? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because, you know, I'm grown, so it's like the things that would have creeped me out as a kid, it's just not gonna creep me out now, you know? Honestly, I didn't feel scared at any point in the book, and that's okay. Even as a kid, I feel like a lot of the parts of the book wouldn't have creeped me out. At least not like this Goosebumps book in particular. I know there's definitely other books and like other episodes I can think of that actively, like I can remember to this day, creep me out, but I can't remember a lot, you know? But if we're gonna give it a ranking we're gonna go ahead and do a little ranking system of 1 to 5 dummies, right? 1 being like not scary at all, and 5 being like, yeah, that's gonna make me shit my pants. In the mindset of like Little Tabs, right? Little Tabs would have probably given this a dummy ranking of 2 dummies. And I know she would have given this a dummy ranking of 2 dummies because like it definitely wouldn't have scared me. And this is me talking about like the whole book overall, right? Now, as for like Little Tabs, what she would have ranked like the monsters in the book, right? Slappy and Mr. Wood. Slappy, we didn't really get to see much of, you know, of him, so I wouldn't include him in this ranking. But Mr. Wood would have given me a little bit of a scare. I probably would have been side-eyeing the dogs like, I would have given the monster in this book a ranking of 3 dummies. I feel like the biggest plot twist was for sure, you know, the fact that like Lindy was doing all that shit earlier on in the book, because I was convinced. I will say that. That's how I know it's some good writing, because I was convinced for sure. Like I didn't think it was going to plot twist. Like I didn't think it was going to do that. So I will give them that. And I'm saying that as an adult right now, right? You know, now if I'm giving it a ranking as an adult now from 1 to 5 dummies, I would give it like a 1.5 dummies. You know, obviously I didn't get scared at all in the book or really creeped out. Just mainly frustrated. I think I got frustrated a lot. But that's okay. I enjoy rereading it, you know. I feel like that's what it's more all about. Like when you're an adult rereading like the kids' books, certain kids' books, it's like you're not gonna get scared. And I wasn't looking for that anyways. I was just looking for that nostalgia, I think, more than anything. Honestly, I wanted to read more Goosebumps books for the month of October. I wanted to read one every week, but you know, time does not unfortunately permit for that So we will see other things for the rest of this month. But I definitely am going to continue to like revisit, the books and probably watch some episodes. I like the little extras that they have in the book, and one of the extras they have is teaching you how to do ventriloquism. So we're going to try that today. Oh, yeah. Today, we shall practice the art of ventriloquism with our lovely new addition to our team. Sorry, Mitzi, I got to take your costume off. It's the only way it's going to work. According to the Goosebumps book, right, here's the steps. Number 1, shut your mouth. Okay, so it says to look in a mirror and part your lips slightly. Relax your jaw so that your top teeth just barely touch your bottom teeth. Okay, I could do that. I don't have a mirror in front of me, but I can look at myself in the reflection of this phone. How about that? So, part the lips slightly, right? I think like that. Is that... I think like that. Step number 2 is know your ABCs. So it looks like the letters that are easier to pronounce are A, C, D, E, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, O, Q, R, S, T, U, X, Z. So let me try saying that with my lips as they suggested. S, C, D, E, G, H. I can't do this. I, J, K, L, N, O, Q, R, S, T, U, X, Z. Yeah. Alright. Step 3 is practice makes perfect. So the tougher letters are B, F, M, P, V, W, Y. So I gotta practice all of them. Step 4, it says to cheat. Instead of saying the toughest letters like you normally would, to try to make sounds that are similar. So instead of saying the letter B, say D. So for example, instead of bunny rabbit, it would be dunny rabbit. Dunny rabbit. Dunny rabbit. I'm still moving my lips. Okay, it's not happening. I don't think it's working. So step number 5 is to find the puppet before it finds you. Already done. Okay, let's try this one more time. We've established here that I, in fact, cannot be a ventriloquist, and that's okay. It was never really an aspiration of mine. We're just doing shit. But you know what? I'm glad you came through and watched me do some shit that I wouldn't normally do. Okay, y'all let me know. What's your favorite Goosebumps book? Have you read Night of the Living Dummy? Do you like it? How does it feel if you reread it as an adult? Or like, what do you remember? I know there's a lot of questions, but feel free to answer at least one of them. What part of the book do you think would have creeped you out the most as a kid? Y'all welcome our newest mascot. Y'all welcome our mascot. Look at her. She's here to stay, baby. You gonna see her in every video now. Okay? And that's another thing I wanted to say. Every single time we hit like, a new subscriber like milestone, we gonna grow Mitzi. She gonna get bigger and bigger. Okay? Like to the point where it's like huge. She gonna end up being huge. But that's only once we, hit the milestones. So y'all gonna see her grow. You gonna see her grow. I will see y'all in the next video for Spooktober. I'm gonna see y'all too. Yeah, you can still see my lips moving. I wasn't trying. I wasn't even trying. But okay, that's okay. That's okay, y'all. We will see y'all in the next one. And remember, it's gonna be my closing, my closing out for every video. Shout out to my girl. She knows exactly what I'm about to say right now. Do the worm. Do the worm. Yeah. That's like an inside joke at this point. You gonna know what I'm saying, babe. Bye, y'all.